Scott Barrett, and welcome back to the Burning Truth. Yeah, where we break down all the biggest action in the world of wrestling. And tonight, not only have we upped the ante in terms of the stream, but we've also watched NXT go absolutely off the rails Tuesday night NXT. This is your Wednesday morning big NXT review. Jordynne Grace wrecked shop with a debut. Moose invaded NXT. Really excited about that. And he was there to go face-to-face with Oba Femi. Ricky Starks is now, well, he's Ricky Saints, but we'll hear about that later in the video. So we need to talk about that. Plus, the Hardy Boyz are back in WWE. And the road to Stand and Deliver is looking absolutely stacked. I'm really, really, really excited about the road to Stand and Deliver. Forget WrestleMania. Stand and Deliver is where it's going to be. But before we get on to the review and all that we need to break down, we're on the road also to 1,000 subscribers on the channel. So if you love wrestling and you want to help us, me, Matt Burns, and the rest of the team grow, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, hit the like button, and spread the word, because we just want to really build a community together. And, you know, we love talking about wrestling and we're just getting started, so we want to keep doing it. So let's get into the review, right? The main event was a wild 6-woman tag featuring 3 champions, or 2 champions rather, and a former TNA women's champion, and some of NXT's top stars, right? So we had Jordynne Grace, NXT women's champion Giulia, NXT Women's North American Champion Stephanie Vaquer now, and they were against Jacy Jayne, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix. Really, really good match. I always say it. I say it every week. NXT has the best women's division in wrestling. End of. The end. That's the story. That's the quote. There is no more than that. It's the best women's division in all of wrestling. Stephanie Vaquer did get worked over for most of the match, but once Giulia tagged in, it was game over. She dominated, and then when Jordynne Grace got in, that was even bigger, because she hit the Grace driver on Jasmine Nix for the win. So Giulia, when she got in, it kicked off a bit, but when Jordynne Grace got in, it was absolutely banging. Boom, 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 bump, 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 bump. Exactly what we expected from her, and she's just got fire like nobody else, I don't think, currently. And I'm here for it. Post-match, she locked eyes with both titles, so she's coming for gold, but we don't know which way she's coming. Who should she challenge first? For me, it's Giulia rather than Stephanie Vaquer, but by all means, drop your pick in the comments for what you want to see. Do you want to see Jordynne Grace versus Giulia? Do you want to see Jordynne Grace versus Stephanie Vaquer? You know, I want you to tell me, what do you want to see? Next, we had Moose crossing the line with Oba Femi. I say crossing the line because that's the big NXT, the big TNA tagline, isn't it? Crossing the line, or it was at least. And after Stars got jumped by a mystery faction at Vengeance Day, NXT champion Oba Femi was out looking for answers, and he didn't find them. Instead, what he found was the TNA X Division champion, Moose, of all people, who interrupted. Moose, Oba Femi, when they stood in the ring together, oh my God, you could feel it. You could absolutely feel it. They're both of a similar size, both dominating characters, powerhouses, and they agreed to a future match, which I'm all about. I didn't know that Moose was the X Division champion. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was in their heavyweight division, but I'm not mad about it. If he wants to be in the heavyweight, if he wants to be the X Division champion, I'm not going to argue with Moose, and you shouldn't either. Could Moose actually dethrone Oba Femi? Or is it all hype? Let me know what you think, though, because Moose, Oba Femi, it's certainly interesting. And if they really wanted to cement this, they could have one of the TNA guys go over for an NXT championship sooner rather than later. And that wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility. Just do we see it with Moose and Oba Femi? Not sure. I tell you, oh God, that coffee's hot. I'll tell you what we did have a bit later on. We had then Moose backstage, and he had a bit of a debate, argument, promo battle with Lexus King backstage, and they agreed that next week Lexus King is going to challenge Moose on NXT for the TNA X Division Championship, which is exciting in itself. The X Division title of TNA, the AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, Petey Williams, you know, that championship defended on NXT TV. Couldn't be more excited about that. What else do I want to talk about? Ricky Starks is now Ricky Saints. How do we feel about that? So Ricky Starks officially signed with NXT, or Ricky Saints rather, has now officially signed with NXT. Ethan Page wasn't happy. He accused Saints of stealing his spotlight. It's going to feel really weird talking about Ricky Starks as Ricky Saints. My teeth don't accept that is his name yet, so we'll try and make that happen. Ricky Saints feels weird in my mouth. But Ethan Page wasn't happy, so he came out and started, a promo battle, if you like, with Saints stealing his spotlight. And Ethan Page, that was the point, actually. Ethan Page was really mad at Ricky Saints for what he said was stealing his spotlight. We then had Javon Evans storm to the ring, attacked Page. So the rivalry isn't over. We were right. Again, Javon Evans looks really, really good in that moment. An absolute future superstar. And I keep saying it, but Javon Evans has got this. He's got something intangible that you can't quite put your finger on. It's the same thing that Jeff Hardy had back in the day, where you really want them to do well. They might not be the most charismatic. They might not be the best in the ring. They might not be the best anything, but they've got a certain charisma and feeling that you just can't help but root for. And Javon's got that, just like Jeff Hardy did. And I'm really excited about his future. He's definitely my favorite in NXT, certainly on the men's side. But yeah, Javon Evans, Ethan Page, that rivalry is far from over. Then we finally get them out of the ring. And Ricky Saints and Ava are still in the ring. But now here comes Wesley. He stepped up and challenged Saints to a match next week. Brilliant. Now we've got two massive matches next week. We've got Moose versus Lexis King for the NXT X Division, for the TNA X Division Championship. And now we've got Wesley versus Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints. Allure. Get my teeth in. I'm going to have to ring a bell every time I say Ricky Saints, I think. The real question is Ricky Saints the right name? Do you like Ricky Saints? Or should WWE have kept Starks? Let's hear it. I want to know what you think. Next, we've got Karmen Petrovic winning big and earning a title shot. So after getting jumped by the mystery faction at Vengeance, no, this is Oba Femi, going through my wrong notes, guys. We had that triple threat match, actually, from the Vengeance Day review that I forgot about. So I said we were going to have a triple threat match on the next episode of NXT, but I forgot who was in it. Turns out it was Jada Parker, Kalani Jordan, and Karmen Petrovic. And this was a triple threat match to earn a shot at the North American Championship against Stephanie Vaquer. What we did find is that after Karmen defeated Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker, and let's be fair, she absolutely stole one, Parker then attacked Karmen backstage post-match, and Jordan and Parker continued their rivalry backstage. So Karmen faces Vaquer for the title next week. Does she stand a chance? Is it next week, or is it just a future title shot? I'm not quite sure. Does she stand a chance, or is Vaquer on a different level for her? For me, Petrovic, Vaquer, easy winner. It's going to be an easy defense for Stephanie Vaquer, but still entertaining nonetheless, because Karmen Petrovic was actually quite good in this match. What else did we have? The Hardy Boyz. Oh, my God. Yes, the Hardy Boyz are back in a WWE ring next week. After getting jumped by the mystery faction, the NXT tag champs, that's Axiom and Frazier, so Fraxium, were fired up. The backstage, when the No Quarter Catch crew, which is Tavon Heights and Miles Bourne, I think, called out the Hardy Boyz in front of them. They said that they want to face a real set of champions, the Hardy Boyz. We later got a VT from Matt and Jeff Hardy accepting the challenge. So next week, the Hardy Boyz will be back. They'll be on NXT. Hardy Boyz versus the No Quarter Catch crew, and Fraxium will be at ringside. I mean, who had that on the bucket list for 2025? I certainly didn't. The Hardy Boyz back in WWE. Madness. What else did we have? Because there's a lot on this show, actually. The show ended, actually, really, really interestingly, with Ava's office, not dressing room, office, had been completely obliterated by this this mystery group that we saw at Vengeance Day, or we believe it was them anyway. Also, we had, when Ricky Saints came backstage after his promo, we had a load of guys laid out in the back, again, alluding to the fact that this mystery faction has put them down. So loads and loads of stuff going on with them. And then I suppose, lastly, we've got this Tony D'Angelo, Shawn Spears, the family versus Shawn Spears group rivalry coming to a head. We had last week, we had the cage match where after the match, Shawn Spears and his group locked everyone out of the cage and attacked Tony D'Angelo and put him down. And the match that they had tonight was Stacks versus Shawn Spears, and this was hyped from last week. Spears easily handled Stacks. He got the win. He's got some momentum rolling, which is good. If he's going to be challenging Tony D'Angelo, it's exactly what he needed to do. The North American Championship is next for Shawn Spears. Do we see him winning this? He's obviously the veteran. He's one of the elder statesmen of NXT. I'll be honest, I much preferred the Ty Dillinger gimmick myself, but, you know, I'm not precious about it, and he's doing something else now in the right thing. But is Shawn Spears the right guy to take the title from Tony D'Angelo? What do you think? You know, I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments on that. I'm not sure. I like Shawn Spears, Ty Dillinger, but I kind of like Tony D'Angelo with this title. I think the win over Oba Femi was really good. I think he's held it well. I think some weeks we forget he's there because he's been missing on a few episodes of NXT recently. But even so, is he a better option than Shawn Spears? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So, what's next for NXT? Next week's absolutely stacked card. Are you ready for this? Ricky Saints versus Wesley in Saints' first NXT match. That is next week on NXT. Moose versus Lexus King for the TNA X Division Championship. Again, NXT are getting a TNA X Division Championship match on the show. The AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, you know, PT Williams belt. Unbelievable. The Hardy Boyz are back next week versus the No Quarter Catch crew. Matt and Jeff back in WWE. Unbelievable. And they'll be there with Fraxium at ringside having that match. We'll also potentially have Stephanie Vaquer versus Karmen Petrovic. Is that next week or is that a few weeks down the line? Either way, the North American title will be on the line for that massive match. And then we thought we were going to get Wesley versus Ricky Saints, like we say. But actually, it was announced later in the show that we're actually going to get Ricky Saints and Javon Evans versus Ethan Page and Wesley. So there you go. His first match becomes that tag team match. I don't know how we feel about that. I don't know how we feel about the singles match versus the tag match. Anytime you can get Javon Evans in a match, I'm here for it. Final thoughts for me. NXT was massive last night. Really enjoyed it. Jordynne Grace debut in ring. You know, she's clearly a force in NXT. Moose and Oba Femi is a dream match for Powerhouse fans. You know, it's big men with meat slapping meat. The Hardys returning to a WWE ring is, I can't say it enough times, it's huge. And then, again, the name change for Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints, is that a letdown? Not sure. And then Shawn Spears as the next North American title contender. I like that. Do I like him as the champion? No. So it feels like a placeholder feud for me, but you know, that's the beauty of wrestling. You can have these feuds, little feuds, big feuds. It doesn't matter. I am really interested to know what you think. So make sure you post in the comments below. And that is another episode, red hot episode of The Burning Truth. NXT's cooking right now. That's all I can say. The TNA crossover is making things absolutely crazy. But again, I want to hear from you. So should Jordynne Grace, who should Jordynne Grace challenge for championship in the comments? Is Moose about to shake up NXT and defeat Oba Femi? Comments. And was changing Ricky Stark's name to Ricky Saints the right thing? Was it a smooth, smart move? Again, was it a huge mistake? In the comments, please. And remember, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So please, if you love wrestling and you want to help the channel grow, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, like the video, share it out, spread the word, and let's build a community together because that's what we want to do. As always, stay hyped, stay wrestling, and I'll see you next time on The Burning Truth. Excelsior.